Hey guys, it's Sami, and this is Wrestling Unlimited. Let me turn this microphone up. It's a little low as it is Saturday. I was unable to do the Smackdown review last night, but I was like, you know what? We can do it in the morning. We can do it on Saturday. That'd be totally fine. And we're here talking all things last night's Friday night Smackdown. And I saw some people going, oh, you shouldn't review it anyways. It wasn't a good show. Blah, 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 blah. I thought it was a fine show. I thought it was good. We built up to the Elimination Chamber. We got two more people qualified, one on the men's side, one on the women's side. So I felt like it wasn't a bad show. People were like knocking it and everything like it just totally was a nothing burger, but that ain't the case. At least not in my opinion. I thought it was a very good to fine, or fine to very good show, if that makes a lot of sense. Now, as far as some things that we've talked about recently, I want to address the Chris Jericho stuff for a second, because on Monday's podcast, we talked about the big crate, right? The big crate says don't open till the Elimination Chamber, 2/28/26. And we're like, maybe Jericho's going to pop out of it. Maybe, there's going to be a countdown on the pay-per-view, and then the countdown's going to break down the walls or something. I don't know. Well, that ain't the case. Because old Jericho, there's a reason he's still on the AW roster page. That is because he is still under contract with All Elite Wrestling, because Tony Khan froze his contract. Word is that when Chris Jericho took time off last year to go do stuff for Fozzy, or with Fozzy, excuse me, he had his contract frozen by the company. And he's been gone. Jericho worked his last match. I want to say it's been like almost a year. Let me see. Chris Jericho cage match. When was Chris Jericho's last match? Yeah, it was April. Excuse me, April of last year. No, I hate how cage match does this. This screws me up so bad. It was, April 6th of last year. Him versus Bandito, when Bandito beat him for the ROH title. That's the last time we saw Jericho. So Jericho been around for a while. Palpatine, Brock's not going to be in the crate because Brock's going to be on Raw Monday. We already know Brock is going to be on Raw this Monday from Atlanta, Georgia. That's already been advertised. That's already been put out there. We already know. So Brock's not in the crate. No. So it's like, what the hell could this be? Hector Guerrero coming out of the egg, gobbledygooker style? We're going to get something. Please don't give us that just awful Undertaker segment from SmackDown back in the day that was very homophobic. Very. I'll just say that. So there's a lot that this could be. There's a lot it couldn't be. And one thing that it will not be is Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is still under contract with All Elite Wrestling. We don't know what's going to go of that. We do not know when he's going to return to AEW, start working off that contract, if Tony's just going to eventually let him out of the contract or not. We don't know. That's the big question. I don't know. No one knows. No one knows. Also, another thing I want to talk about, just very briefly, because I don't know if I'm the right kind of person to talk about this, the Janelle Grant stuff from yesterday. Janelle Grant actually did a little 15-minute press conference. She was part of like a full hour-long press conference, but she spoke for 15 minutes, more than she's spoken ever, because she's never spoken publicly ever, and went way more in depth. Excuse me, way more in depth than I expected. I just thought this was going to be, I'm here to advocate for sexual abuse and women's trafficking, and yes, it happened to me, and blah blah blah. Done. 5 minutes max. She went 15 minutes. Went into some details. On, how much she's had to spend through all of this, 6 figures, getting the word of the first Wall Street Journal report, which she was kind of vague on and not fully, I don't want to say, how do I say this without sounding like a total jerk? She made it seem like there was more in the first Wall Street Journal report than there was. She said that she got a phone call when she said she started a new job, and it sounds like she was maybe running some sort of like a apartment building or something. She said, I started a new job, and there was a bunch of people there that I was in charge of their housing and where they lived and and so forth. And I get a phone call in front of all of them that says, hey, just to let you know, here shortly, an article is going to drop about you, Vince McMahon, WWE, in the Wall Street Journal. You cannot speak about it. You cannot comment on it. If anyone asks you about it, you can't say a word, nothing, none of that. And she was like, I'm just devastated. Like, I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to do. And she said that she went into, and I'm paraphrasing her. I wish I had the quote because this is actually crazy. Just something about she went into a closet with a belt and a metal rod, and luckily somebody found her. So, yeah, she went into other details with this as well. I know that Brandon Thurston and John Pollock on the Post Wrestling channel did a good breakdown and deep dive of this kind of. They talked about it because they've been really entrenched in following all of this, probably better than anybody. So if you want more details on what Janelle Grant spoke about, what that actually could mean going forward and the ramifications and all that, go listen to their little breaking news podcast from yesterday, because they really did a good job breaking down what she said and what it could mean for the lawsuit and stuff going forward. Because she's got two actually out there. She's got the one on Vince and the one on the Dr. Carlin Coker. So that's a crazy thing that she actually spoke yesterday for 15 minutes. But with all of that, with that, I want to say thank you for joining us here at twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you're watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below, or help us out by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Excuse me, I'm trying not to burp into the microphone. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. Because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, you can help us out over on YouTube at that subscribe button. That way you know we post new videos when we go live and when we post to the community tab. Also, remember, if you want to support us in another way, you can hit the join button and become a channel member. As a channel member, you get a badge next to your name, emotes and emojis that you can use in the live chat, access to our graphics packages, and much more. You can also get that at patreon.com/PW Unlimited. Also, remember, if you want to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, you can do so by donating a super chat in the live chat. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PW Unlimited, at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Again, whether you're getting something for like Fortnite on your PlayStation, your Xbox, your Switch 2, your phone, your tablet, anything, your Amazon Fire Stick that you can play Fortnite on, anything, use our code right here, PW Unlimited. Go to the store, go to the bottom of the shop in Fortnite, and there you go. It doesn't cost you anything extra. It only takes a couple of seconds to type it in, PWU NLIMITED. As far as Friday night Smackdown does go, we're from the Panthers Stadium. They're in, was it Fort Lauderdale last night? I want to say, yeah, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And we see Rio walking in backstage. They see the mysterious crate. And what else was mysterious is, why was Io not on the show? Like, she was on the show, but why didn't she work? Originally, and I haven't seen any update on this, so if you guys have, let me know. Originally, WWE did announce that Io Sky will be going one-on-one with Julia. And the fans went crazy online. Oh my God, Julia versus Io for the first time on WWE TV, singles match. Oh, wow, this is going to be great. And then they come like an hour and a half, 2 hours before SmackDown. And they're like, breaking news, Ria Ripley will replace Io Sky tonight on SmackDown. I'm like, what? Why? No word given. Nothing, no, nada. Just Ria's in, Io's now out. But they were still advertising and on this show talking about Io in the Elimination Chamber qualifier Monday on Raw. So I don't know if, I don't want to say it's an injury because then they wouldn't still be advertising her for Monday. They would have just low-key not mentioned it. So I don't know what is going on. They kind of hinted maybe there's something up with Io because they're like, oh yeah, Io's got to stay healthy for Monday's Raw when she's got that qualifier match or something like that is what Joe Test said. So we then got a recap of last week's incidents with Chris Jericho, Cody Rhodes, Jacob Fatu, Sami Zayn, and Drew McIntyre all being involved in that main event. Excuse me. This then led to Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, making his way out to the ring. Cody got into the ring. He wasn't wearing a suit, so I'm like, oh, Cody about to get physical? Cody about to get physical? He never really did. Cody comes out to the ring and says, what do you want to talk about? You know, his customary open. However, before he could really say anything, out would come Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu came down to the ring and said that he was screwed out of his qualifier last week by Drew McIntyre. And he addressed Cody Rhodes slightly. Fatu said the Rhodes wouldn't even be out here speaking about Elimination Chamber if it wasn't for the aforementioned Drew McIntyre, because he would have won that match. Fatu talked about how he held Rhodes and Zayn, or he had Rhodes and Sami Zayn beaten. But if it wasn't for Drew flowing in with Claymore, he would have had Sami pinned. Fatu talked about his concerns and wanting to get after Drew and going for the world title. He said he was going to dog walk his ass all over Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And instead of Drew coming out, well, out come Nick Aldis. SmackDown general manager made his way out on the stage and said, Jacob, we're not doing this. I knew something like this may happen, so I gave Drew the night off. Drew is not here. So he thought. He said there's too much at stake when it comes to Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania, and we're not doing any of this. He said, but come to my office. Let's talk this out, and we can see how to get you Drew. And Jacob's just all pissed off. He's like, oh, I don't know about this. And all of a sudden, we hear, gentlemen, hey. And it's Drew from the stands. Drew from one of the suites. And he goes, I'm here. Told me not to come, but I bought myself a whole suite. I paid money. Got a skybox. Made fun of Fatu. Called him irate. Security. They then showed up at ringside as Fatu jumped out of the ring like he was going to go run into the crowd to go after Drew McIntyre. But again, Fatu was stopped here. McIntyre kept taunting him ever so slightly as GM Nick Aldis was just like, don't do this. Think of WrestleMania. I don't want to have to suspend you. And I'm just like, suspend him for what? Going after Drew? Why would that be a suspendable incident? I don't get it. And so he's like, come to my office. Let's talk. Let's have a chat. You'll get Drew. And he like shoves one of the security guys away. And Aldis is like, stop it now. And he's like, fine, whatever. And they walk to the back. McIntyre said that the whole world was after him because he was the champion. And Cody goes, no, they're after you because you're an asshole. That was basically the brunt of it. Cody was supposed to go out there and have a full-on talking segment. And he said like 2 sentences. Very interesting. Very interesting. And I'm going to talk a little bit more after this next segment with Nick Aldis and Jacob Fatu as well, as where I think it could be leading to. I could be wrong. I don't know. But first off, Carmelo Hayes is with Ilia Dragunov. And they're backstage talking about their respective matches tonight. Hayes encouraged Dragunov to take care of his business against Tamatonga, while Dragunov wished Hayes good luck in his Elimination Chamber qualifier. Talking a little more about Dragunov here in a second in 2K26. Oh my God. Anyways, Nick Aldis was then seen in the back with Jacob Fatu, basically just telling him to leave. I'm like, I thought you said let's have a talk in my office. Your office is not the loading docks leading to the outside. Anyways, he was like, have a little patience. We're getting Drew out of here. You take the rest of the night off. He basically kept telling him, you'll get Drew. So my question is, could this be leading to next week, them announcing Drew versus Jacob for the Chamber? I know it's like last minute. They should have announced it this week, build it up for a full week on social media and so forth. But how else would he get Drew? You know what I mean? If the winner of the Chamber gets Drew McIntyre, which we assume is going to be Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, how is Jacob also going to get Drew on a random SmackDown or next week at Elimination Chamber 1 week from today? So I don't know. I just had this feeling the whole time like they were trying to set up Drew versus Jacob for the Chamber, kind of like they set up Punk versus Finn for the Chamber. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. So moving forward, we had Tamatonga versus Ilia Dragunov, but I wanted to pull something up here on the screen first. Ilia Dragunov's look in 2K26. Oh my God. Remember back in the day before we had community creations that allowed us to upload faces? That's what Ilia Dragunov in this game looks like. That's what Ilia Dragunov in this game looks like. Like, OM Jesus. Pull this up on the screen. This is Ilia Dragunov in WWE 2K26. I can tell it's Dragunov because I know it's supposed to be Dragunov. But it literally looks like when a guy comes to the company too late to be put in the game, so everyone creates him themselves as close as possible before we had the capabilities of uploading faces and making them look really, really good. Like, this literally looks like one of those back in the days on like the SmackDown versus Raw games when you would go on cause.ws and read somebody else's breakdown on how to create somebody and then recreate them. Like, geez, this does not look great. This does not look all that great. Like, as far as it looking like Ilia Dragunov. And I want to do something really fast. Oh, the intro played again. Oh, my bad, guys. What did Ilia Dragunov look like in 2K25? That's what I want to see. Ilia Dragunov, WWE 2K25. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Way better. Hold on. Open image. Oh, this is a really small image. Hold on. Get a better one. Why can't I get a better? Here we go. Ilia Dragunov. Here, let's do this from Smackdown Hotel. This was Dragunov in last year's game. This is Dragunov in last year's game. Can you compare that to this year's game? Hold on, let's do this really fast. This year, last year. Look at the stark difference in goddamn. Like, this looks like a created character. This looks like an actual guy in the game. What happened, 2K? What happened? Jesus Christ. Anyways. Go back here to my notes. Tamatonga versus Ilia Dragunov. I enjoyed this match. I thought it was a good match, good hard-hitting battle between these two, and it's a Tamatonga I've wanted to see for a while. Dragunov started off blasting Tama in the corner with some chops. Tama responded with a hard elbow that pummeled Dragunov into the corner. Punches to the face as well. Dragunov at one point hit Tama with a running boot, followed by a German suplex. With Tama stunned in the corner, Dragunov struck him with a running boot again and sent him outside of the ring as we go to a commercial break. When we returned from the break, Tama was in control of the match. As Tama taunted Dragunov, he was met with some vicious strikes from the former U.S. champion. An exchange of blows between the two concluded with a double down, with clotheslines and arm ringers is whatnot. And then both men were taken out with, double clothesline, like I said. As both men got back to their feet, there was more hard-hitting action. Tamatonga at one point lifted Dragunov up and hit him with an underhook in an underhook position, but he was countered. Dragunov headed to the top rope and had Tamatonga in his sights for a senton. Dragunov had Tama dead to rights with an H-bomb, while JC Mateo would come out and get up on the apron and provide some distraction. There was a failed roll-up from Tamatonga as the match kind of lingered on. Tamatonga then got on the top rope, caused a momentary distraction. Tonga Loa got on the ropes, or the apron, caused a momentary distraction, which allowed Tamatonga to hit a not-so-hidden blade-looking cutthroat and actually pin the former United States champion. Yes, Tamatonga actually got a big singles win here against Ilia Dragunov. So I was shocked by that, but very happy because I'm just like, we need to do more with fucking Tamatonga. Tamatonga is great. I've always been a huge Tamatonga fan. Let's go. Moving forward after the match, so Sakoa addressed the crowd and said this was going to happen as they're the MFTs and this is the MFT shows. Dragunov tried to jump Solo Sakoa from behind, but the MFTs got the numbers game. Matt Cardona then tried to come out and make the save, but he fell short as well. Paul Cruz then joined in, but he got destroyed, yes, as well. Before the MFTs can continue their damage, though, the lights went off. And the White Six would appear on the screen. Uncle Howdy addressed Solo Sakoa in a video and said that it was time for everyone to see if Solo can stand on his own. He said next week he'll come to the ring alone. Solo, you come to the ring alone and let's have a match. One-on-one. Nobody there. So, yeah. I'm finally going to see Uncle Howdy working a match. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. So they got listening, confronted Drew McIntyre, who he had said earlier they were trying to get out of the building, put the champion on blast for his recent antics over the past few weeks and how he's made things very difficult around here on SmackDown. Aldis then threatened to keep pushing. Aldis threatened McIntyre should not keep pushing him. He would not like what he sees. What he sees what? You're the same fucking GM that suspended him and then just randomly let him back without having to do anything to get back. Like, just randomly, Drew's back. Oh, and he gets to choose a stipulation for a title match. Drew is not going to care about your ramifications because last time there were ramifications, you gave him a fucking championship match. Nick Aldis. In the back, Randy Orton's interviewed about qualifying for the Elimination Chamber when Aleister Black and Zelina would confront him. Oh my God, did Zelina look so short? Randy's up here, Zelina's down here. Literally. Randy's a what, 6'4"? Zelina's what, 5'0"? That's not a joke, just saying 5'0". Like, Randy's a foot and a half taller than her, basically. Holy crap. Anyways, she confronted, talked about, you know, people might be talking about you, but they really talk about other things and other people. And then Aleister showed up. The two spoke in cryptic riddles before basically they said they wanted, or Black said he wanted to fight Randy. And Randy's like, you want to go tonight? We can go tonight. And it got set up for the main event of the show. Elsewhere, Lash Legend and Nia Jax were being interviewed. Jax says that she'd be on her way to winning an Elimination Chamber qualifier and then winning the Elimination Chamber. But before that, she's going to qualify tonight, go win the tag titles next week, and then win that chamber. So this is when we officially learned that they're doing the rematch next week on SmackDown. What did they call them? It's Rio defending against, what did they call Lash and Nia again? What did they call them? Fuck, they got a tag name. What is Nia's nickname? The Irresistible. Fuck, now I can't remember what they called each other. Or they called them. What's Nia's nickname? It's a playoff of Nia's nickname. Like the Irresistible Forces or something like that. I don't know exactly. Chad, if you remember, let me know. So then Jade Cargill came out. This was a 0.5 burger. Basically made us think that it was going to be her and Charlotte at WrestleMania, and it's not. The Irresistible Forces. Thank you, Sin Saturday. They're the Irresistible Forces. So Jade Cargill comes out and basically is like, WrestleMania is coming up, and I don't care who I defend against. Last week, Jordynne Grace tried me at her best, and her best wasn't enough. Now I hear that Liv Morgan is going to be making her decision this Monday on Raw who she's going to face. Well, heck, Raw's in Atlanta. I'm from Atlanta. I'll be there. So basically Jade saying she'll be at Raw Monday when Liv makes her decision, because they are advertising now. Liv Morgan makes her official decision this Monday who she's going to face. I think it's Stephanie Vicaire. Then she says, I don't care who it is, whether it's Liv Morgan that picks me or somebody coming out of the Elimination Chamber like old Tiffany Stratton or Charlotte Flair, because I'm that bitch and ain't no one beating me at WrestleMania. So she goes to leave. And Charlotte comes out. It's like Jade is exiting, posing with the belt on the stage, and then Charlotte comes out. Charlotte walks right past her. Jade then goes up to Charlotte to confront her, and is like, who do you think you are cutting me off? And Charlotte's just like, woo! So Jade woos back in her face, and I'm like, oh shit. Charlotte about to win this qualifier, and they tell us Charlotte's winning the chamber? It's going to be Charlotte and Jade at WrestleMania? I could see that. No. No, it's not. It is not at all. And not only did Charlotte not win, she took the pin. She took the pin. As far as this match does go, Elimination Chamber qualifiers, Charlotte Flair, Kiana James, and Nia Jax. You could see WWE sees something big in this Kiana James. Like, they've got plans to push Kiana James. Not just like, oh, she's Julia's manager. Who's going to wrestle sometime? No, they're pushing her, like putting her in this chamber and everything. Like they like her. They like her. So we got things underway as Flair struck James with a big elbow and then grabbed her. She threw James into Nia Jax, but got taken down by a shoulder tackle. James recovered and tried to barter with Nia, saying, hey, you, me, work together against her. Didn't really work all that well. Flair got James in the corner at one point and hit a kick. Jax then got both of them with consecutive pop-up headbutts. Both women were stunned on opposite corners, and then Jax hit repeated hip attacks on them as we go to a break. Coming back from the break, James and Flair fought it out. Flair headed to the top and connected with a diving crossbody on James, as then she chopped away at both foes. Flair then hit her signature somersault clothesline on James as they focused the attack on to Nia Jax. One point, Flair went to the top rope for a moonsault on both Jax and James, but only got a 2 off of it. Flair then hyped herself up as she reversed an attempted powerbomb by Nia into a Hurricane Rana. James then got herself back up and showed some impressive strength with a Samoan drop of her own for a near fall. James then headed to the top as Jax rolled out of the ring. Meanwhile, Flair got back up and intercepted James on the top turnbuckle. The two mixed it up for a minute before Flair hit an avalanche Spanish fly and got a very, very close 2.999999 kick out. One point, Flair and Jax were dueling it out in the middle of the ring as the latter dropped Jax across the top rope throw. First, on the top rope, Flair tried for a high-risk move, but was intercepted by Jax with an attempted avalanche Samoan drop. Flair then turned that into a powerbomb as she then locked in a figure 4. Flair then arched up to get into the figure 8, and that's when Kiana James would slide in under her, pull her off of Nia, get her in the little roll-up deal. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And because Flair, I guess you would say Flair was still locked in that figure 8 and she couldn't get her legs out, that's why she couldn't kick out. I liked the finish. I thought it was very clever. You counter I guess you say figure 8 into a pin and she's locked up and can't move. Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was a clever pin. Kiana James picks up the win. She moves on to Elimination Chamber. 1 spot left. So as we have it right now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll pull up this graphic here on the screen just to see who is currently in that women's Elimination Chamber match. 5 women have qualified so far. We have Tiffany Stratton, Ria Ripley, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Kiana James, and one more woman to qualify on Monday. I think it's probably going to be Io Sky, but we'll have to wait and see till Monday as far as who actually qualifies. So moving forward, Royce Keys, they showed his interview on the Steph McMahon podcast, What's Your Story? If you haven't watched it and you got a little time, go watch it. Even if you just like I did. I was at work, put it on in the background, listen to the whole thing. Holy shit. It is a hell of a listen. I think this is the way all new big signees need to be brought into this company. Debut them, and you have them go do either Stephanie or Cody's podcast. Taker's podcast, I don't know. I don't listen to it enough to know if it can get in depth enough. But I know Stephanie's does because she's had some really good ones. I've listened to a number of them. At first, I was like, I'm not going to listen to Stephanie McMahon's podcast. Then I was just like, you need to listen to the Heyman one. And then I listened to the Hornswoggle one. And I was like, oh, these are really good. People open up to Stephanie. Like, they feel comfortable opening up to Stephanie. And so I think this is a great way to introduce somebody new to the company. Let them tell their story. Royce Keys had the greatest analogy for what Palo Alto and East Palo Alto is. He said, Palo Alto, that's Pride Rock, in The Lion King. He said, but East Palo Alto, that's where you don't want to go. That's the elephant graveyard. I fell down in my seat and I went, that's the freaking greatest analogy you could make. You have Palo Alto, which is like where Stanford is, and not Stanford, yeah, Stanford, and like just the pinnacle of the Bay Area and like the Simi Valley and all. It's just like it's put there like the Golden Child City, right? Then you just go right to the other side. East Palo Alto, that's Murder Town. That's murder capital of the United States. And so it's like, there's not a better analogy for the differences in Palo Alto and East Palo Alto. Pride Rock, the elephant graveyard. And when you're at Pride Rock, you're told, never ever go beyond the shadows. Don't ever go to the elephant graveyard because shit goes down. Like, I fucking loved that analogy, especially somebody from California that spent a lot of time up there in the Bay Area and stuff. I know. It's true. Moving forward, Femi and Kit Wilson. This kind of sucked. I'm going to say it. I think Kit Wilson is doing a good job at what he's been given and the character he's been given to portray and the stuff they're telling him to do. I think that's good. I think he's playing it well. It just sucks. It's just not good. It's just that. So they're both in the ring, and Wilson rolls out of the ring as the bell rang and took a microphone. He dressed Femi, said that he wanted to read him a poem, so Femi obliged to listen. It was an ode to Femi. And, it was about how Wilson supposedly saw the greatness in Femi. He said that when he looked at Femi's eyes, he saw a teddy bear. Femi then grabbed the mic and said, that's quite nice, but I want to hear more. I want another poem. He's like, I don't really got one ready, but I guess I can read this one. Under threats from Femi, Wilson read another poem about toxic men. And the way he played this off, I don't know this to be true or not, but he was reading this poem and then he'd stop himself and just be like, I can't say that. Like, he didn't know the words coming forward, and this felt like a big ass rib. And that they gave him this book of poems and said, read this poem out there. I read it ahead of time? No. Because he would read a line, and you could tell he's reading ahead, and he's like, I don't want to say that. Do I really have to say that? It's just that look on his face. I don't know if that's true or not. If it's not, then he played this off so well. But Wilson spoke the line of the poem about how he hated Femi and his toxic masculinity. And that basically started the match, though, with Femi grabbing him and throwing him across the ring over the top rope. He then hit him with a couple of running uppercuts in the corner over and over again, hit him with a fall from grace, and pinned him 1, 2, 3. Basically threw Kit Wilson around, showed his power, and there we go. Now, the crowd was half into this at times. Like, they counted the 1, 2, 3, because it's just what you do at a wrestling show. But then when Femi got up and went, yeah, I won, not a reaction. That's not what you need to see from Femi right now, as far as them wanting to push him as the next big thing. You don't want to see him get up and celebrate a win and the crowd just on their hands. Like, they did the 1, 2, 3 with the ref, and then just silence. And Femi's in the ring, yeah, ref's like raising his hand. He's like, the ruler, Femi, and the crowd just like, yeah, cool, that's all it was? Okay. Next. Like, that was actually it. It's what it felt like. That's not a good thing to see with Femi. So I got Truth. And he sees the mystery box, and Nick Aldis is there. And he's like, what's in the box? I know what's in the box, Nick. It's an award. It's a big award. Elimination Chamber Awards. And I'm like, Elimination Chamber Awards? And Nick Aldis is like, what? Awards? He goes, and I've won plenty of them. Greatest shocker. This, that, and he's like, Truth. You're talking about the slammies. There's not a big slammy in there. At least I don't think. He's like, what? Slammy. Slammy Awards. No, it's just Elimination Chamber next week. He's like, look, it says 2/28/26. And they was like, whatever, Truth. Damian Priest then comes up and he's like, oh, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity tonight, Nick. I'm going to go out there and qualify for the Elimination Chamber. And Truth's like, only one of us can win. Only one of us can qualify, though. And Nick Aldis is like, Truth, we already had this conversation. You're not in the qualifier. He goes, excuse me, Nick, that shame on you. I'm not in this. You were better when you were bald. Bring the bald Nick back. He's better. And then he storms off. Okay. Again, over the top, wacky Truth. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. This is kind of in the middle for me. We got Tiffany Stratton versus Alba Fire. Basically, Alba Fire wants revenge on Tiffany Stratton for injuring Chelsea Green in their qualifying match. Chelsea Green came out in a wheelchair and a walking boot. But the other day when they did the 2K Creator Fest event at WWE headquarters, Chelsea was there visibly limping, but without the boot. So she can walk without the boot now. But you could still tell she's hurting. Like that ankle is hurting. As far as this match does go, Stratton grabbed Fire's leg and then locked her in a headlock. Stratton then showed some impressive athleticism as she stepped on the ropes and kept her headlock on. She then leapt over Fire afterwards and placed her in a prone position across the ropes for a running hip attack. Fire at one point seemed overwhelmed by Stratton's attack until a rake of the eyes allowed her to hit a springboard DDT from the ropes, which led us to a break. As they come back from the break, Stratton was on fire with an aerobatic running attack in the corner. Fire then responded with a super kick as she got to take a little bit of an advantage here. On the top turnbuckle, Stratton recovered and she had Fire into a superplex as she rolled into a modified brainbuster for a near fall. Stratton tried for an Alabama slam, but Fire reversed it into a gory special. There was only 2 off of that. Fire then had Stratton in a position for a powerbomb, but she was countered into an Alabama slam. On the top rope, Stratton attempted a prettiest moonsault ever, but Fire pushed her out of the ring to the ringside area. A wheelchair-bound Chelsea Green tried to get up and hobble over to her, but then she thought better of it. This though allowed Alba Fire to hit a suicide dive on Stratton. Also, didn't mention during the entrances, Chelsea's got this like bag, and she's throwing newspapers out to the crowd. Apparently they said it was newspapers with the headline that she's injured. I thought that was cool. Very cool souvenir some fans got to take home. In the ring, Stratton got her knees up to block Fire's swanton bomb, but found herself hit with a block of knees. Stratton then bounced right back though. No mistake here on the prettiest moonsault ever and pinned Alba Fire. That was a solid match. Solid, easy TV match. Both women looked good. They got to showcase their moves. No one was like more in control than the other. I thought it was a very even back and forth match that let both women come off strong. I liked it. I thought this was a solid TV match. Worked well by all. Cody Rhodes chatted with Sami Zayn in the back, and oh boy, was this good. This was like my favorite thing of the night. Sami, or basically Cody was like, hey, it happens. You lost last week. Don't be ashamed of yourself. Don't feel down on it. He's like, easy for you to say, golden boy. You don't see it like me. You go out there and get everything handed to you and get all the attention and everything. And of course, you say, don't be ashamed. He's like, I've been here for 10 years trying to do this, and I haven't won the world title, and I haven't got many opportunities, and you're over here crying and whatnot. Or you're telling me not to cry about it and so forth. And Rhodes is like, excuse me, I don't know about not getting opportunities. I don't know about having to do what I have to do to prove myself. He stated that, I had opportunities taken from me. I think a couple of weeks ago, 3 stages of hell, Jericho Fatu showed up, took my opportunity, screwed me out of my world title. And Angry Zayn said that Rhodes didn't know what it was like to do the right thing over and over again and have it always blow up in your face. Rhodes yelled right back at him and said, yes, I do. Germany, think about that one. It cost me everything. He concluded by stating that Zayn's only enemy, well, it's himself. He needs to look into a mirror before he really can win the big one. Trick Williams then appeared. Got a big reaction. Taunted Sami Zayn. He told him that Rhodes wasn't a good friend as he bragged about winning his Elimination Chamber match coming up tonight. Said, I'm going to be in it, you're not. Zayn then ran back over to Cody. I'm so sorry, Cody. I'm sorry I snapped at you. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? Why is Sami apologizing? Why is Sami apologizing to Cody? And then he remembered that he had a little help along the way, and the crowd was here to booing Sami a little bit for this apology that made absolutely no fucking sense because Sami said nothing wrong. Why is Sami apologizing to Cody here? I'm sorry I snapped at you, almighty Cody Rhodes golden boy. Like, fuck that. I didn't like that part. I liked their back and forth and thought that was great, and then they ruined it with freaking Trick coming in, taunting him, and then Sami running back over. I'm sorry, Cody. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I don't want to be in your bad graces. So, yeah. But speaking of Trick, we had a triple threat Elimination Chamber qualifier here. Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes, and Damian Priest. The match kicked off with Williams trying to negotiate an alliance with Hayes, but Priest hit both with clotheslines. Hayes then responded with a dropkick as Priest countered with a standing flapjack. Williams re-entered the fray to fight Priest. He found himself stunned in the corner as Hayes... Excuse me. He found himself stunned in the corner as Hayes was thrown from the other side of the corner into him, basically. Priest then looked strong early on. There was a hard elbow by Priest to the face of Carmelo Hayes that only got him a 2 count. Williams then showed some great athleticism by landing on his feet on a Priest chokeslam. Priest then got out of the way of a springboard clothesline from Hayes, who hit Williams in the crossfire. After a commercial break, the match continues as Williams and Priest traded strikes in the middle of the ring, down on their knees. Just in that time, Hayes then came in and hit double springboard leg drop. Outside of the ring, Hayes hit Williams with a shotgun drop kick into the timekeeper's barricade before he connected with a frog splash in the ring on Priest for a near fall. Williams then put a stop to all this with a spinning kick to Hayes. A Uranagi by Williams on Hayes only allowed a 2 count. Priest at one point then pounced on Hayes to send him over the announce table at ringside. Priest then left the ring to get thrown into the announce table. In the ring, Williams connected with another spinning kick on Hayes with great impact, but wasn't enough, just a near fall. Williams then put Hayes on the top rope and looked like he was going to hit the superplex, but Priest got back up, intercepted with a razor's edge on Williams. 1-2, that's it. Hayes was on the top rope and hit a nothing but net. Didn't really get much of it. Thought he had the match won, but nope, Williams broke it up. At one point on the top rope, Hayes tried a top rope diving move, but was intercepted with a hard elbow from Damian Priest. There was a razor's edge attempt from Priest, but Williams blasted him with a trick shot knee that sent Hayes crashing out of the ring in the process. One more trick shot knee on Priest. 1, 2, 3. Rick Williams has qualified for the Elimination Chamber. I'm going to say right now, these two had a hell of a match, or these three. These three worked so well together. These three went out and killed it. I loved it. I loved this match. Thought this match was fantastic. Oh, we do have a bit donation here from Esports Gaming Rules. He says, you saw the in memory of Kerwin Silfies, and I saw the Triple H post honoring him on X and Instagram. Yes, even AEW did a tribute to Kerwin Silfies. He was a longtime backstage hand, basically. He was a director producer for WWE, worked very closely with Kevin Dunn for many, 35 years, I want to say it was. So, yeah, very sad to see him go. Didn't really know anything about him, but it seems like everybody loved him, and he impacted a lot of people's lives. Like Bryan Danielson said on AEW, he literally said the words of, when I went to WWE, I really knew nothing much of TV production, and Kerwin really taught me a lot of what I needed to know about television production and being on TV and how TV works. So, like, he mentioned WWE and everything. He was like, oh, this guy taught me everything I know about being on TV. Our condolences do go out to Kerwin Silfies, and his friends and family. So then we got Smackdown Tag Division. They're over there. What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? And Johnny Gargano is literally laying on top of it. Candice is like, Johnny, what are you doing? What is going on here? What the hell? Jordan Grace then comes up as Nick Aldis is also there now. And she's like, Nick, we need to talk. And Candice goes, I know you're new here, but I've been here longer than you, and I'm going to be talking to Nick. We're talking. You can wait your turn. And Jordan's like, excuse me, you're talking to me like that? And Nick Aldis goes, whoa, I see a little animosity here. About you two fight it out next week. And, like, Jordan was fine with it. Candice was kind of just like, meh with it. And then Nick Aldis was like, also, you need to go take care of your husband. He doesn't look like he's feeling too great. I was like, what a line. That worked. Carolina says, the rise and fall of Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Tim do better. What the fuck? What do you mean fall? What kind of fall? What fall? You know, fall. I have no clue what you're talking about there, guy. What? Fall. There's no fall at all. Yes, I post less now, but we're still here. We're still rocking. We're still talking to you guys about pro wrestling. Then Jade Cargill was in the back, and B-Fab shows up. I've said it before about Trick, where he comes off like he's really playing a character with the way he speaks. B-Fab's the same way. She's like, so I'm back, and I know you're ready for me. but there's others in line that also want to get a hand on you. And all of a sudden, Mia Yim Meechin shows up with the kendo stick. And she's like, baby, I can take you out right now. Get you with the kendo. And Mia Yim's always been a great promo, always talked like she was a genuine person. And B-Fab's like, wait a minute. Maybe we shouldn't do it right now. Maybe it's better when she's least expecting it. And I'm just like, well, who talks like this? Who fucking talks like this? And Meechin's like, yeah, you're right, girl. Hit her with the sneak attack. Element of surprise. She's like, you know it. I'm like, B-Fab, is this how you talk in real life? Nobody talks like this in real life. If you do, then damn. Esports Gaming Rules in a bit donation says, Jade misses Bianca and Naomi like she misses her real nemesises. Well, Naomi, she's gone because she's having a baby. Bianca, she's gone because she's got that messed up finger. If you've been following her on social media, then you'd see, what's the word I'm looking for? You'd see that she's going through her rehab and stuff. So long process still to go. Long process still to go. Another thing you've done covering AEW. No, there's just never that much AEW news. I mean, we talked about AEW earlier this week with the Chris Jericho story. I've been posting on social media AEW news. It's just there's not enough big AEW news that I feel like warrants videos. There's always WWE news, and people always talk about WWE, but the AEW news is kind of lacking recently, if I'm going to be completely honest. Like, there's not as much non-WWE news as there was a year ago, per se. Like, even a year ago, there's just not as much. There was way more AEW news. So, it's not that I don't cover it anymore. It's just there's not much to cover. So, again, take that how you want. Moving forward, we had Julia versus Ria Ripley. Again, don't know why this is not EO. It was announced as EO and then changed. Corey says, what about Camille's story? What about the Camille story? There is no Camille story. She's just not being used. I mean, you say the same thing about fucking Britt Baker. What was the Britt Baker story? Why is she not being used? We don't know. I can't report and talk about things that nobody knows about, guys. Like, you ask all these questions, like everyone's like, where the Street Profits been? Why are they not been on SmackDown? I don't fucking know. Nobody knows but them. Not AEW news, the AEW show. What happens to that? Just Wednesdays have been a little more busier than normal for me. Just saying that. Plus, you want me to be 1,000% honest, Carolina? You want me to be 1,000% honest? AEW content does half of what my WWE content does. Just saying. My fan base prefers the WWE content anyway, so that is always, has always, will always take precedence. WWE videos and news and content always does better than the AEW ones. Just saying. You could check our social media numbers, our YouTube numbers, all of that. We got to give what we see that our followers and fan base wants more of. And that's always has been and always will be, it seems, a WWE content. We got to get them the WWE news always first. And we always are going to cover the AEW pay-per-views. Like, I have not stopped covering the AEW pay-per-views. Yes, there's been a couple of weeks now that I haven't done the Dynamite review. But Dynamite's just been okay anyways at best. So, moving forward, again, don't know why this is not Io Sky instead of Ria Ripley, but Ria replaced Io. Don't know why. When we get the match underway, Ripley and Julia lock horns before the two get into a little shoving contest. Ripley at one point tried for a riptide, but Julia escaped and slammed her foe down onto the mat. Julia then kept the momentum with a missile drop kick in the middle of the turnbuckle. Julia then maintained the attack on Ripley as she dodged a running shoulder charge from Ripley. Ripley then crashed into the steel post very hard and to the outside. When the match came back from a break, Julia had the upper hand. She went for a Riverdare knee, but it was blocked by Ripley, who cracked her foe with a lariat. Both women got themselves back up to their feet and exchanged with some strikes. Ripley dodged a barrage from Julia and blasted her with clotheslines, followed by a standing slam and a running dropkick. Ripley tried to go up top, but Julia intercepted her at the pass. Ripley escaped her or with that weird. Ripley escaped the move, tried to get her with a cheeky Nando's kick, face plant by Ripley on Julia for a 2. Ripley again then tried to go for a riptide, but Julia countered it and connected with a Rividashi knee. 1, 2, no go. Julia then got ahead of it and tried for the Northern Lights bomb. Ripley countered and hit a headbutt just as she went for the riptide on Julia. Nia Jackson, Lash Legend would come down, attack, cause a DQ, match, no go. So no finish here as the irresistible forces came down and attacked Ria Ripley. After the match, Jackson Legend laid a beatdown on Ripley until Io Sky would come down to make the save. It's like, she can come down and make the save, but she can't work the match. What the fuck? She's obviously cleared to do something. So I don't know what's going on here. She evened the odds. The women's tag team champions got the best of it. And there we go. Go. Now Carolina's just trying to make me look bad. I'm glad Owen, Wrestle News 365, cover everything about wrestling, not one company. Again, go follow our social media. I can show you right now multiple AEW stories that we covered on social media. Let's go to... Let's see. I can show you right now. Say I don't cover. Yes, we don't make videos about it all the time. You want to say we don't cover AEW? Look at this. Look at this. Hey, tag match announced for Revolution. Hey, Continental title match announced for Revolution. Hey, world title match announced for Revolution. Double or Nothing in New York. Like, yes, predominantly WWE content here. New Japan news. AEW news. AEW news. AEW news. Like, guy, you can't say I don't cover it at all. When, okay, maybe, well, I don't even know who this Owen Wrestle News 365. I know the site Wrestle News 365. They got a YouTube too? I don't know about that. Let's see. Because I know Wrestle News 365, which is, they do have a YouTube channel. I've never literally ever seen their videos pop up on my feed once, which tells you something. Like, I've never been recommended or seen any of this content ever. All their AI bullshit. I'll tell you right now. All their thumbnails made with AI. I can tell you that with looking at it within a half a second. Half a second. They're AI thumbnails. So how much you wanna trust people to use this much AI? Like every single thumbnail here, all the text on the thumbnail, everything, it's all AI. I can tell you that within looking at the first thumbnail here in half a second, I can tell you that's AI. AI. How about you learn Photoshop? How about you learn to make your own stuff? Or pay a designer to do it. It's not that hard. Yeah. All fake shit. As far as their thumbnails do go. Like, all AI. You want to go watch AI? Go watch AI. Like, his videos might be all right and good. I don't know. I literally never once seen that they've got a YouTube channel. Yeah, this channel's never once been recommended to me, which tells you something. I've been doing this for over a decade. Anyways. The Miz and Femi. Or The Miz met with Femi and tried to offer him his services as a self-appointed locker room leader. This led to Femi challenging him to a match next week. Something that's slowly kind of just like there. Okay, cool. Southley then chatted it up with Bliss and said that she's fine after not qualifying for the chamber. Kind of James then showed up and talked trash. That's about it. Then moving forward, we had our main event match of the night. Aleister Black versus Randy Orton. Black and Orton locked it up in the middle of the ring as Black was kind of tugged down with a shoulder tackle. Orton then got himself into a Viper position, and Black responded by staring down his seated opponent. Staring down his opponent from a seated position. After a brief stare down, Orton got on the offense, hit a series of punches in the corner. A clothesline from Orton sent Black crashing to the outside. As we returned from commercial break, Orton targeted Black with a Garvin stomp as Zelina got on the apron to cause a distraction of the referee. This allowed Black to respond with a knee to the back of Orton. Black then hit Orton with a running kick across the apron and threw him into the ring post. Back in the ring, Black smashed Orton with a running knee strike for a near fall. Black applied a rest hold on Orton and tried to maintain the pressure. Orton then got himself to his feet and fought out of a hold. There's a suplex attempt by Orton that was blocked by Black, who then again blasted Orton with a knee to the face, but only got a 2 off of it. At one point, Orton zoned in on Black and had him dead to rights for an RKO, but Black escaped it and rolled out of the ring. Black then hit him with a strong kick to the face. Orton then tried to go after Black with a suplex across a table, but Black blocked it. Orton, however, managed to block a kick from Black and slammed him across the commentary table. This allowed Black to seemingly be out. Orton then draped him for a draping DDT from the announce table onto the mats outside. Orton then rolled Black into the ring. Drew McIntyre then smashed Orton in the face with the undisputed WWE Championship. Cody Rhodes gave chase to McIntyre. In the ring, though, Black hit the black mass on Orton and got the 3. So they get Aleister Black a big victory here over Randy Orton. Crazy. Did not expect that one. Didn't expect Drew to show up either. Like, Drew showing up, go, Randy? Okay. Yeah. Interesting. But then Cody came, chased him away, and there we go. Aleister Black stands tall at the end of the show over Randy Orton. Again, did not expect that with Randy being in the chamber, Black not. I would have thought they would have had Randy win to keep that momentum going into the chamber. But with that, guys, was Friday Night Smackdown. I thought a pretty dang good 3-hour show. With that, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. With that, we'll be back on Monday for Monday Night Raw. Have a great night.